Yeah, I know what's going on. It's time for another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker, and welcome to the show, y'all. Check us out, y'all. Let me give you something that's really crazy here, right? It's a whole lot of ways that you can be disrespected in the penitentiary. I mean, most of the time, you don't even know that you're disrespecting the other person, especially if the other person is in a gang, okay? I'm going to tell you this story about Cuz, one of the Crips that I used to mess with, you know what I'm saying, back in the day. I still mess with him if I ever run across him again. But back in the day, man, me and him was kind of cool, you know what I'm saying, and all of this whole kind of stuff, right? And anyway, he was in charge, you know what I'm saying, of Cuz and him at this particular facility that we were at. I'm not going to even name the set, and I'm not going to even give his name. But anyway, the point is he was over them. You feel what I'm saying? And one thing I didn't like about Cuz that he was open to being pushed a lot, you know what I'm saying, by the membership. And I'm gonna explain to you, you know what I'm saying, why he was like that later on in this episode. But this is what happened, right? We was on the basketball court, right? Hooping. I'm talking about getting down. And the basketball in the penitentiary is a big thing. It's a big thing. A lot of people in here play sports because it reminds us of a time when our lives were a lot simpler when we was on the streets, so on and so forth, right? And it's also a way that we can get our stress off without, you know what I'm saying, hurting anybody or hurting ourselves, right? Because we run all day. I'm talking about all day. And you got some good ballers in here. I'm talking about, I've run across some people that could play college or pro ball, and that's no joke. I'm telling you, just lights out ballers. You feel what I'm saying? But here's the thing. One day we were playing basketball, and Cuz, you know what I'm saying, the little OG, you know what I'm saying, the little YG rather, let me put it like that. He wasn't the OG. He's on the court now. The brother that I'm talking about, there's the OG. He's not on the court, right? He's sitting on the sideline. He got next, right? You know what I'm saying? He had been discussing business, so he didn't get picked up in the first round, right? But normally he would. He was that good, right? But anyway, he's on the sidelines watching what's going on, and one of the little homies is out there on the court, and he's balling. He's shaking and baking and doing his thing and going to the hole. And the dude that's guarding him is a peon. Now the dude that's guarding him, man, he's good too. And he don't back down from nobody. But when you on the court, it's kind of like, you know, everybody out there talk trash. And you can't take this stuff personal. You can't let this stuff, you know what I'm saying, bleed off the court. That's what I'm saying. But in this particular situation, right, Cuz going to the hole and the peon fouled. Cuz ended up making the shot, you know what I'm saying, anyway, but the peon fouled him. And he said, man, keep your hands off me. You keep pushing me. You know you can't check me. So when then the peon come down the floor, he's shaking it back and he shoot a tray, you know what I'm saying, in Cuz face, knock that thing down. Now they back and forth talking trash. And this is what happens on the court. If you play basketball in the sports, you know that's what happens. Trash talking is part of it. Some people can take it, some people can't. Now Cuz, the little homie, he could take it. He could take it. But then at the same time, the peon could take it too. But see, you had a lot of brothers, a lot of the big homies sitting on the sideline. See, they didn't like Cuz, and they didn't like the peon either. So they used that as an opportunity to get Cuz to have to put in work. So they whispering in the OG ear. Now the big homie, see, this is what I didn't like about it. He sat there and listened to that stuff. He don't even agree with it now, because we had talks. He don't even be agreeing with half of the stuff they be saying, but he never would push back. He never would push back. So anyway, they sitting there like, man, look, you hear Cuz, the peon talking to Cuz like he gonna let him talk to him like that. So I'm saying to myself, what is really going on? How is it that, you know, this is a big deal? Who made this into a big deal? Because at the end of the day, they just on a basketball court talking trash to each other. This is not something that people should be getting upset about. But the homies on the sideline, they pushing Cuz. They pushing Cuz. So Cuz give in. He give in. So when the game over, he called a little homie to the sideline. He said, look, man, that ain't how we get down, man. Ain't nobody gonna be talking crazy to you. You know what I'm saying? He talking crazy to you, He talking crazy to us. Now the little homie looking at him confused. He's like, what you talking about? What you talking about? And he's saying to him, he's like, look, man, we just on the court. We just kicking it. He said, we don't kick it like that. So now the little homie looking at him like, since when? Since when? When has this ever been a problem? When has this ever been a problem? So the big homie tell him, look, I'm not finna go back and forth with you about this, man. I said what I said. The next time he talk crazy, he gonna get dealt with, man. And you gonna have to be the one to do it. That's just dead on that. Now keep in mind, the little homie and the peon that's on the court, they straight. They get down, they kick it, and all this old kind of stuff, man. They're not mad at each other about anything. They cool with each other, man. And that's just the bottom line. But at the end of the day, he's a Crip. He's a Crip. You know what I'm saying? He's a gang member. And they trying to push the issue that this is disrespect. And the little homie, he ain't buying it. Now, what a lot of people don't know, what a lot of people in that gym that night didn't know, which what I knew, was that cuz and them, they got an issue with the little homie. Because the little homie, he's shaking it, but he ain't breaking bread with cuz and them, right? It's always something behind the scenes, man. It's always something behind the scenes. He ain't breaking bread with them. Now they want to get a piece of the action. You feel me? They're going to put some pressure on him. They're going to put some pressure. But see, the thing about it, they putting pressure on him in a way to where it's not about, they want to hurt him or break him. They trying to get him, you know what I'm saying, put him in a position where they can come and look out for him, and then he see the value in them. That ain't what he's on. Cuz stand on his own. He a Crip, yeah, but he stand on his own. He ain't no slouch. He ain't the biggest dude in the world. You know what I'm saying? He ain't the biggest dude in the world, but he still take care of his business. He ain't trying to hear none of that no nonsense, man. So at the end of the day, they call a meeting. And they talking. Now the big homie, he telling me what they talking about. You know what I'm saying? In the meeting later on, he pissed. He like, man, I don't understand what cuz and them trying to do and all this. I'm like, you the big homie though. You the big homie. Why don't you tell them to stand down, man? Why don't you tell them to stand down? And that's what you have in a lot of these organizations. You have a lot of the people that's in charge that have let it get out of control. But I ain't going to get on that. That's going to be another show. I ain't even going to get on that because I don't want nobody shooting at me talking about, you don't understand, Joe. Yes, I do understand. Y'all know me. Y'all know me. I've been there, done that. So I ain't going to get on that. But anyway, let me get back to the show. Now, so after this meeting, they tell the little homie, you know what I'm saying, look, you got to put in work, man. You and dude. You feel what I'm saying? Or we going to get it. And then they tell them they want to hit up. Now, this done turned in from basketball talk, don't fight, hit him up. And this is his friend. He don't want to hit him up like that. When you say hit somebody up in here, I'm talking about that butcher knife, y'all. I'm talking about that butcher knife. They made this situation seem like so much that it's almost as if that they want to see little homie crash. That's what they've turned this into. They want to see the homie crash. And this is not what you want from somebody that you look up to. Because the little homie looked up to the big homie. He looked up to him, man. And he's trying to find a way out. And he ain't got no way out, but he don't want to hurt his friend, man. He don't want to hurt his friend. I'm going to tell you something. Some of the things that happen in the penitentiary, man, people be trying to tell you that it don't happen, and it does, man. And I'm going to tell you one of the biggest things that happens in here. Snitching. People be saying what they say. But I'm telling you, it goes on in here. Snitching be going on. A lot. And one of the ways that snitching be going on that high level is that people be dropping notes. And when they be dropping these notes get dropped. When I say dropping notes, they get dropped to the warden, they drop to internal affairs, whoever they think's going to get the issue done. You feel what I'm saying? For whatever it is they want to get done. Now, cuz the little homie, he didn't want to do nothing to his friend. He didn't want to do that at all. So what does he do? He dropped a note. to the warden and told the warden that the peon dude was in danger. But here's the problem. When he put that note in the mail, somebody saw it. Somebody saw it. Now, in the past, like I've told that in one show, like some people be fishing mail out of the mailbox. How they be doing that? Now, they didn't do that. No, they didn't do that at all because they didn't know what it was. They had no idea what it was. They thought it was just a regular letter, but they watching Cuz, just on him, trying to make sure that he ain't doing nothing slick. But here's the thing. When the letter went down front, it went to, now the warden don't open all his own mail. You know what I'm saying? From what I hear, right? His secretary do it or whoever do it, right? But see, the warden has trustees that work for him after they clean up and do all this old kind of stuff, right? And a lot of those trustees, they want to straddle the fence. And what I mean by that, straddling the fence is this. You got a lot of trustees that work for the administration down front, and they have a bad reputation, whether it's deserved or not. Because most of the people that work down front, they not telling nothing. They just go out there and they work so they can get outside the fence for a few minutes, you know what I'm saying, every day, and chill. You can breathe a little bit easier. That's what they tell me. I ain't never been over on the other side of the fence because of my sentence. But they feel comfortable. But see, people back here that don't get that opportunity, got rocks in their jaws about it. They spread rumors and lies about them, talking about everybody that's a trustee that's snitching. That's a lie. It's a lie. They're not doing that. They're not doing it. And if they are, it ain't all of them. You feel me? But here we go. Check this out. One of the trustees that worked out there, right, ear always to the ground, listening to everything. So this letter is received and given to the ward. Now, this trustee, he's overhearing stuff. And he overhear this and that. You know what I'm saying? Somebody said the wrong thing. Then somebody asked one of the other trustees about him. So now he's suspicious. And they mentioned Cuz's name. You feel what I'm saying? The big homie. They mentioned his name. So now he don't know what's going on because they don't talk like that in front of us. He don't know what's going on, but he knows a little bit about what's been going on the compound, but he ain't putting the pieces of the puzzle together because he don't know exactly what it is that's happening. So when he come back to the compound, because he was one of those dudes that a lot of people on the compound thought that he was a rat, he want to always try to do something to show people, especially gang members, that he's not. So when he came back to the compound, he pulled the big homie to the side and he tell the big homie, he said, look here, they was talking about you out there. And he said, well, about what? And he told him what it was that he heard. Now, the big homie didn't let on to him that this was valuable information to him because it let him know that somebody had said something about what he had done told the little homie to do to the peon. Now, the trustee don't know it because he don't have the whole picture, so he can't put everything together. So now, the big homie tell him it ain't nothing. He don't want him to understand know what's going on, so he dismiss him. Now he get his heads together, all of them sitting around, and they talking. He said, man, somebody done told something, man. And he said, dude came in and told me today that they called my name out there. They called the little homie name out there. You know what I'm saying? And they called the peon's name out there. Now, Cuz done put the whole thing together. He thinking somebody done dropped a note and said that something's finna go down, which is true. So they sitting around getting to talk and said, who would benefit from that? Why would somebody do that? Because the body, the little homies, they the one to put the OG up to doing it right. Now, the only one that's been pushing back against this was who? The little homie that was on the court, the little homie that's been told to put in the work. You feel what I'm saying? So now they pull him up, bring him into the room, and they confront him with this information. And he's just standing there, and he said, man, I ain't done nothing. He can't admit it. He can't admit to that, because if he admits to that, they going to beat him. So he don't admit to anything. So they tell him if they find out, man, what's going on, man, and he's got something to do with it, off with his head. And it don't matter where you go. Y'all know how they go when you in the gang life. Ain't no prison you can go to be safe. You can't even go to check-in and be safe. That's just what it is, you know? So they tell him to leave the room. He leave the room. Now he tripping. He go in the room and he put his celly out. And he's sitting there, he writing another note. and he puts it down in his sock, right? Because he can't come out with nothing in his hand. You feel what I'm saying? So he come out and he take the note. He go out there and he's walking around. Ain't nobody watching. So he reached down in his pants and he put the note in the mailbox. Put the note in the mailbox. And he goes to the warden again. Now this time, he says in the letter, somebody out there came back on the compound and told him that he had dropped the note. Now the warden is pissed off. He knows it's not one of his employees, so it's got to be an inmate. So now he's wondering who. Because Cuz didn't tell the little homie who the person was that told him that information. But whoever it was on point. You feel me? So now they lock the prison down. They come on the compound, they grab the peon, they grab the little homie, and they grab the big homie. They all go to the hall. Now they all sitting in the back. And let me show you how twisted it gets in here, right? Internal affairs they go to the back. They got all three of them, right? And they back there talking to them. They're trying to figure out what's going on. And they find out. Now, the peon didn't know what was going to happen to him. He had no idea. He had no idea. Now, he's scared to death. He's scared to death because he was like, man, what? They were finna do this to me for what? So when they talk to the little homie, he tries to tell them what's going on without telling them what's going on, right? So the IAs are like, look, just tell us what's going on. We ain't got time for these games. And he told them it's about a basketball game. It's about a basketball game. They want me to hurt him because me and him were talking trash to each other on the basketball court, and some of the big homies, they think that that's disrespect to the Crips. So the IA go to the big homie, and they tell the big homie, look here, man, none of that. None of that. If anything happened, it's going to be a problem. And they ask him, is this going to be a problem? He tells them no. He don't know what they're talking about. He don't understand none of this stuff like that, but he knows what's going on. And they know that he's playing his role too. He has to. So they let them back out after 7 days. Now, the little homie thinks it's over with because he thinks that they've been scared away from doing this. Now, they moved the peon to the other end of the compound for his safety, just in case. But the big homie and the little homie, they get put back into the pond. Now, everybody's looking at the little homie like he ain't straight. But he's trying to play his role because he knows he's the one that dropped the notes, but he can't own up to that ever own up to that. Or they going to beat him. Well, it's one thing about being a gang member. It's not a court of law. You don't need the same type of evidence that you need when you're putting somebody in jail or prison, up in a courtroom. They figured it was him. It had to be him. So now the homies, they making the call. He got to get it. He gonna get it. And the big homie, he mad about it because it caused him to go to the hole. But at the same time, he telling me he don't want to do it. I tell him then, don't do it, man. He said, man, dude had to be the one to drop the note. I'm looking at him like, man, you finna get this boy hurt because he was trying not to do something stupid that you didn't agree with in the first place. Why is this important, y'all? Because again, I try to make sure that you understand this lifestyle don't make no sense. The big homie didn't even want to do this in the first. This is about basketball, a basketball game. They manipulated trash talking on the basketball court to try to get him to break bread because he was getting his money. That's how petty this lifestyle is. And now you got people on the compound all in an uproar. You got one that done got moved away up to the other end of the compound. You feel me? People looking at him silly like he's a coward, but he ain't done nothing. They moved. The police moved. Now you got Cuz, the little homie on the compound. They looking at him like he can't be trusted, but he didn't know what else to do because wasn't nobody listen to him, and he just wanted to make sure that his friend didn't get hurt, and especially him be the one to do it. And then you got the big homie that didn't want to do none of this in the first place, that didn't have the nuts to tell them to stand down. And now things done got out of hand. And now they want to hurt the little homie for doing it a way that don't nobody approve of because he didn't have no options. The game don't give you many options, y'all. The streets don't give you many options. So you know what happened. You know what happened. They pushed on the little homie. The same people that said they loved him, the same people that said they messed with him, they pushed on him. They pushed on him. And they come with them things. They sent 2 brothers at him. Now, he keep his pocket knife, too. You can't get caught without no butcher. They stick him. He stick them. He end up getting the worst of it because you got 2 pocket knives versus 1. And now, this man walk around, he got 1 eye. And they stuck him in the eye, y'all. Stuck him in his eyeball. He can't see out of his eye no more. Can't see out of his eye no more. They left him laying there. Now, them 2 young brothers that did it, guess what they had? In the hole, going to court, facing charges, more time. But the little homie, he can't see out of 1 eye. And then he going to have to live with that for the rest of his life. All about a basketball game, y'all. All about a basketball game. And you say you about this life? Better think about it. This has been another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker, and I say peace, y'all.